Hello everyone, welcome to the last episode of Woodwards and Woods I'm gonna do. Which for some of you you're probably sad to hear that, but just something that I'm choosing to do because of just some of the problems I'm feeling with the game and kind of the burnout I'm feeling with playing this game. So I'm gonna do a sort of a mini review of it. Like, it's not gonna be perfect. It's gonna be missing a few things, but so let's start with the positives. And I know, like, Air, you can play the game. Why are you doing a mini review on it? Well, if it took me about till half the game where I started feeling burnt out and not liking the game, maybe I can save you the time of getting to this point and getting to this issue as well. So, some of the positives are the creatures in the game. Like, there are cats, all these, like, cute little creatures. Bushbug, Pumpkin cherries are cute. Blooming butterflies. The list goes on. These I particularly love. Do, like, honey piglets in this area, and you kind of get the picture. Like, those are my favorite. They're annoying to collect, but favorable. I digress. Another positive is that a lot of the creatures have unique collecting conditions, which is cool and stuff. Where I started the slight negative on that is that it starts getting a little bit tedious once you get to the second area, because the potions really matter. The first area, you can get away with most of the collections without any potions in the Green Forest, but once you get to the Cloud Valley, some things are impossible to collect without a potion. Which is just a slight issue. At the beginning, I liked the characters and like how they developed and everything, but after a while, they started to become one note, where it's just they have one trait and that's all they really revolve around. Roy, he might have a single trait, but Roy, I have not noticed anything super, and of course, I cannot say anything about any other villagers that might be showing up towards the end of Act 2. But after some of the positives, get into some of the negatives. One of them is dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue in this game, and the dialogue in this game doesn't really do it well, as well as there's some translation errors, which also kind of break immersion in the game. I've ran into spelling mistakes. One of the most notorious dialogue breaks I've noticed is a knight's pie conversation. It should be in personal stories. Yeah, and dialogue is a little bit long. Okay, so that's all. Dialogue is dialogue is what's making my episodes 20 minutes long. The past 3 weeks episodes, that is purely story. Was it not the pie story? But I remember there was something, or I might have passed it. But I was pretty sure it was the pie story. But sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. The dialogue gets long. One of the issues I have with Ellie and Virgil in particular is that they have one joke, and it's Ellie's a dumb witch. Virgil pokes at it and makes fun of her. That's literally all their banter is about. Where at the beginning it's fun, it's refreshing because Virgil has input, but it's after the 50th "you're dumb" joke in the series, or "oh, you're being adventurous again" joke, it's the same joke. It gets the story is it's pretty good. It's sort of fraying right now a little bit, but for the most part the story is interesting up to the point I have played. Another issue with the game is of the reputation. Not reputation, but the repetition. essentially, you go, you gather, you brew potions. You go, you gather, you brew potions. Eventually, you get to a point where everything's easy. You get a ton of the ingredients because you get to encyclopedia rank A or like S or A with these guys, and they just provide a ton of extra drops, including incubator drops, and that doesn't become an issue. And then once you get to it's when you get to the new areas where it's like, okay, now I need to start over, and you can't use incubator because you have to have them to a certain rating before you can use it, and you can't really get as much as you want out of it, and it just becomes a tedious repetitive task. Potion making as well, where that is relieved a little bit with the upgrades of the... Once you get to Act 2, you can actually buy upgrades for your equipment, and you can actually get stuff to double the efficiency of stuff. That helps out a lot, but it's a little bit late in the game where if you don't know about them, like I did, and you're just grinding to get stuff, I could have spent half the time processing those ingredients than I did, which ingredient processing isn't an issue as badly, but I digress. My last pressing issue is that tutorials are never ending. They're constant. I am still going through tutorials. Like that drop of emotion. Still leaves the side quest. Learn to fish. Stuff like, I know some of that came from Act 1, but the game practically rips onto your hand and doesn't let go. It just cannot let your hand go for something. Maybe it's better in Act 3, but in Act 2, I think the first thing I got when I entered the Cloud Valley is, hey, research something. And it's like, I played through Act 1. I know how this game works. And then it's like, do it for this creature. All right, now try to figure out how this creature works. It's like, this game's about experimenting. If you don't get that concept by Act 2, that's nice that the tutorials are there because they'll help you. However, if you're somewhat competent and understand how the game works, yeah, it's kind of just annoying where it's like, okay, dear, how about I grab your hand and I'll teach you how to do this again. Even though I know how to do it. I know repetition is the best teacher, but yeah, the repetition is the issue in this game anyway, so maybe not. So anyway, those are the main reasons of my ending the series. The graphics are beautiful. The pixel art is very good. But, as I said, this is going to be the end of this series just because I can't bring myself to play it anymore due to all of the negatives I mentioned building up, as well as burnout for my channel as well. So I'm just gonna, after this, I'm probably gonna take maybe a month break. If there's a game I really want to play and I feel inspired to play it, I'll bring it to the channel. However, in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful, amazing day, and as well as I hope you have a great month for the hiatus I'm having. I hope to see you in a month's time. Goodbye, have an amazing rest of your day/month.